So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackdown review January 11th. This Smackdown was actually not bad. I'm actually quite surprised of how they structured the show. Let's just blow through these as best as we can to get to the end. So Booker T basically says later in the night, Big Show is going up against ADR. Big Show did not like that. Big Show was an angry giant. And basically he tries to get some good heel heat by saying the only reason this was being done was because simply they want to get the Latino fans. Pretty much the truth. So I can say that's actually a very interesting thing they were actually honest about. Doesn't mean it was a good segment? No. I actually was going to be quite... How can I say this? I was thinking that before ADR came out, I thought Big Show was going to say the main reason you're doing this is because you want to be a black hero. He didn't say no one else. He said Irish hero. He says Latino hero. He said Viper hero. He didn't say no black heroes. I was expecting him to say that when he got in the ring with Booker T. Now that would have made some sense. But before he does that or even wants to do that, ADR comes in and then drop kicks him. And that's how we got the show started. Was that a good segment? Not that great for me personally. Maybe someone else might have liked it. That part about not saying the black fans kind of irked me a little bit for the simple fact that they're there. But if you're not going to mention them, if you're trying to be politically correct, it was actually kind of stupid. It would have been better to say instead of the Viper hero, the black heroes, the Irish heroes, the Latino heroes. That would have made more sense. Because then you could at least go with the storyline and get proper heel heat. Him saying that just didn't feel right. That's just me. If you're going to be a heel like that, go all the way with it. Say black heroes as well as Latino and white heroes, which are Irish. That would make more sense. Now, the match that came after that pretty much was Orton versus Antonio Rosado. The match wasn't bad. I felt that Orton wasn't going to job here. I was right because the Shield came in. Both these guys were using European uppercuts. Excuse me, I'm still a little sick. Actually, a lot sick. I want to hurry this up before my medication kind of kicks in. Had to take some strong one. Anyway, both of them using European uppercuts and seeing Randy Orton get, as I call it, the uppercut of destruction where he shoves someone straight in the air and do a basic European uppercut on them. I was surprised that Orton was willing to do that. That kind of move, you wouldn't expect Orton to allow to be put on him because that really, I mean, even though it showed that he was able to kick out of it, that was like really trying to put Antonio over. Unless Orton finally learned a lesson when he was at the wellness program and say, you know what, I need to straighten my ass out. Well, I'm out. I'm going to help the younger folks now. If he has learned it, Randy, I'm happy. You're beginning to understand putting the younger talent over is going to make you look good later in life. So like I said, the Shield came in and demolished him again, which was okay, counting on when are they going to get a title. We need these guys to do like the Aces and Eights need to be done. They need to get a title eventually. One of these guys, or all three of them, need to get a title. I don't care if it's the US title and the tag titles, or it's the IC championship and the tag titles, or the World Championship, or the WWE Championship. They must carry a title because they're not carrying anything yet. This faction is going to get boring quickly if they don't have something with power. Now, the three matches. The three matches that really pissed me off and made no damn sense. I'm getting the first one out. 3MB with Sheamus. A handicap match with three guys. Two guys that basically are outside the ring, one inside, and they switch out. I don't understand why it lasted a minute. And Slater jobs. And what did he gain? What did Heath gain? What did Ginger or Drew gain? Nothing! What the hell was that? That wasn't filler. That was disgraceful. And the hits just kept going. Hell No versus the Primetime Players. How long did that last? 2 minutes? Maybe 3? I say 2 minutes. At least I can say that when it came to Hell No, Daniel Bryan's still doing the leg problem thing. I'm glad they're still doing that, because when they go to the Royal Rumble, that could be one of the defining factors that makes them lose the titles and then breaks these two apart. Unless Dr. Shelby is going to show up. Because the way they've been booked so far, they're still unstoppable. Unless Dr. Shelby is going to be their manager, if they win Royal Rumble, I am completely writing off Hell No, because I'm going to get sick of it. They need Dr. Shelby to make them interesting. Doing these little bits about yes and no, eventually he's getting to get tired, and I'm kind of tired of it now. Unless they have Dr. Shelby after Royal Rumble as their manager, this is over. It's going to be done for me. Anyone else? Tell me what you think about when Hell No is finally going to be irrelevant because Dr. Shelby's not there. Now, the final thing that just made this show really crappy and would have gave it a D+ show. I'm telling you the truth. This would have made it a D+ without the rest of the stuff going on during the night. That is AJ and Dolph versus Great Khali and Natalya. What the hell was that? What was that? I don't understand the hell out of that. I have to admit, seeing the Silence of the Lamb and basically Hannibal eating the hell out of Natalya, biting her in the knee and then biting her in the face and won that way was different. I mean, the biting in the face was actually surprising. And seeing a huge amount of cleavage on Natalya, which you can say that Natalya is not a very great looking woman, but she still has some boobies. They look good while she was laying on that damn mat. So that was the one thing I enjoyed the most next to that bite. But other than that, who's supposed to get over in this? Was it Dolph? I didn't see Dolph getting over one damn bit. Was it Biggie Langston? Biggie did get something done well. He took out Khali. And that's who I really thought really got over the most here. But the way they kept presenting it, at least at first, it seems like AJ was supposed to get over. But honestly, the one who got over here was Biggie Langston. He kicked the crap out of Great Khali. I'm sorry, I'm not saying Polly. I'm still woozy from a medicine. Sorry. Great Khali got the crap kicked out of him. And then, the thing that makes me truly happy. The thing that truly makes me truly happy and truly beyond reason proud. He destroyed Hornswoggle. Licking his fingers like Hornswoggle was finger licking good like a piece of chicken. He licked his fingers like it was finger licking good with Hornswoggle and kicked the shit out of him. This is what I leave in the title. Biggie Langston, finger licking good. Oh yeah, damn, that sounds good. That's what I'm gonna put in my title. Finger licking good on Biggie Langston. He ate his ass up. That just sounds so nasty, but that makes sense. The person you're trying to get over is Biggie Langston here. I think, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to say this if I do not forget at the end of the show. Make some sense about what's going on with Dolph. So I'm going to move on. Now, CM Punk segment at the Sunlight Stadium. They did 2 segments in the stadium. One for Punk and one for Heyman. Punk's wasn't that too bad. It really wasn't. This is supposed to try and up Punk's game and how he talks. I don't think he's gotten a lot better, but I do believe he's getting better because of his first real mic fight with The Rock. He didn't do badly. It wasn't like a great rising, but I'd say he upped his game maybe about 10%. And this is only, not that much. I think by this next Raw he'll do better and bring it up another notch. Excuse me. Sorry. Whew. But like I said, I think this is only a 10% rise, but by the next Raw and then the Raw after that with the Smackdowns, I think he'll raise his game up. We know Punk can talk really well, but he's never met anybody like a Rock to actually do a mic battle with. So this is going to be a great thing for Punk. So after what goes on with The Rock over, He can take these new skills and he can force other people, hopefully force other people, I'm not saying he will, but hopefully force other people to up their game as well. This would be good for Cena to actually learn this. Cena, if you're watching, learn something. You're not a good mic talker. You suck. You do. Actually up your game. You've had moments, but it's not enough. Anyway, next is our main event. And I was surprised that The Rock was in it. I expected him to be at the end of the show, but he didn't do it, which actually was a surprise for me. Rock is a big mega superstar. You would expect him to be closing the show like he does on Raw, but this time they did it on Smackdown, which you would think The Rock is being reduced or being like not really wanting to be featured, but it makes sense. You're trying to build something, and I'm glad they did. The Rock at first, I thought at first, after hearing him before Rogue Scholars came in, he felt really flat. But I realized that he wasn't feeling flat at all. What it was, if I understand this correctly, tell me if I'm wrong. But because Rogue Scholars is a young team, these are two young guys, they are good mic talkers, but they're not even near the caliber of a Rock. This is The Rock. This is Rogue Scholars. Even if he makes them bring up their game, which he did, it wasn't that much. It didn't go up by a huge amount. They're still green in mic talking compared to The Rock. So I think The Rock kind of gummed himself down a little bit, which doesn't seem to be the right thing to do. But it's understandable with two really young talents here. Damien's only been there for about a year or so. Even though Cody's been there for about at least 5 years or 6 at least. The thing is that he's never been pushed into the main event. He's never been really pushed very hard. So I think The Rock just didn't want to overwhelm them. If I'm wrong, just state it down there. State it in the comments thinking that Rock really made a mistake. I believe he did this not to really hurt them. Because by the time he came out, the time they came out, sorry, that starting to talk really made some sense. He upped his game then, not made it too high for them to try and reach. He lowered it just enough that they had to rise up and show something interesting. We know Rogue Scholars can talk. Damien talks great. And he putting over Cody saying, I think he said the magnificent mustachio. No, the master of the mustachio. That's what he called him. That was actually pretty damn good. So the entire segment was good, including the questions. Answering the 2 out of the 3 questions to become an apprentice. When he wasn't going to become an apprentice, he was just going to be allowed to stay in the ring. But seeing that was actually fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this segment. Did it feel flat? Not really. You're working with 2 real rank amateurs compared to a high-level professional of The Rock. So if you feel like it was a little flat, understand these guys are not like The Rock. But when you see at the end the rock bottom on Damien, I felt from the very beginning that Damien was going to be the one who was going to job because he's younger, and he did. And then seeing the people's elbow on Cody, okay, I liked it. The people there exploded. I thought it was canned heat, but seeing the people in the background, and since that was Miami, Florida, people were ecstatic to see The Rock, and it was a good segment, and I'm going to keep it at that. Now, let's see, no. Alright, I already said that. I'm going to say that. Okay, the main event. ADR versus The Big Show. And it is a title match with a last man standing stipulation. I was actually quite surprised to see this. I was expecting this to be on a pay-per-view. I didn't expect ADR to win. It was a good damn match. So I was actually surprised to see this being put on a regular television show. I think maybe the WWE was trying to do something special. And I think maybe they should have never did it. The match was good. Seeing ADR having to fight so hard against the Big Show, getting thrown through the table, getting knocked unconscious, and then at the end, rising to adversity, maybe a little too much after he won. Because he looked like Super Cena after it was over. But before it was over, seeing him having to do a Herculean type of lift on a table that is probably way light. probably mostly hard foam, and then throwing it on top of the Big Show, and he winning the match that way, was actually a good thing. There wasn't much of a big problem with it. It's just that I think this was pay-per-view worthy. I really think that Alberto Del Rio deserved it at that pay-per-view. He really did. But since this was Miami, and he is Mexican, and they got a lot of Cuban, a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Puerto Ricans there, they were trying to pretty much privy to the crowd. And that's the reason why it was done. Do I believe it was the wisest thing to do? No. I would have still liked this on a pay-per-view where ADR could have really solidified himself as a good face. Because the person that really helped him over was Ricardo Rodriguez. After the match was over and he won, you could see how happy Ricardo, and he was hugging Alberto. And that was a real strong emotional moment. That would have been better at a pay-per-view at the end or near the end of it. But still was done well. And commentary was actually good. Matt Josh Hughes, sorry, I can't pronounce his name. The medicine's really beginning to kick in now. Woohoo! JBL did very well. Josh, sorry I said math. Josh did well as well. He upped his game a little bit, not by a lot. So commentary was good. Most of the things in the show were not bad. Those 3 matches really brought the show down. Sheamus and 3MB was terrible. I don't know why it was done. Hell No versus PT Pierce was terrible. There wasn't even any theme music for PT Pierce. There wasn't even theme music for Sheamus or 3MB. This is a guy who was a world champion. He didn't even have any music. And when it came to AJ Dolph, I was ready to give this thing a D+. But because of what happened with The Rock and Rogue Scholars, the way they had CM Punk, and the way they had Heyman, the way really seeing Hornswoggle get his ass made by Biggie Langston, finger licking good, baby. Ooh. And then the ADR with Big Show match. I'm going to give this a B-. It isn't a solid show. It isn't. But because of those particular things I said that were good, I have to give this a B- rating. Particularly that the crowd was ecstatic there. Of course, it was Miami. Of course, that's The Rock's hunting grounds right there. You know The Rock lives in Miami. So you know the crowd is going to be theming for him. But still, I have to take that into account. So it's a B- show. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane's view of Smackdown 111. Subscribe and comment to Zane's view. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a predictions. I don't. Maybe I'll try and do it in the middle of my review of Genesis. But I'm going to see if I can try and do my predictions tomorrow morning or afternoon, because I am sick and it's kind of hard to stay focused. As you saw, I was botching just Josh Matthews' name. I was calling him Matt Josh. I am not feeling well. So anyone who's sick out there, please get better, get well, and have a good night.